to Kush News, the newscast of the African diaspora. I'm your anchor, Ochanda, daily bringing you the top stories from Africa and the Caribbean. Let's take a look at today's news on Wednesday, July 10th, 2024. We go to Kenya, where the president hints at a possible economic crash. Facing public calls to resign, Kenyan President Dr. William Ruto has said that the government will turn to slash a $2.7 billion budget deficit in half by borrowing the rest without saying from where. After anger after the exposure of luxurious lives of senior officials to fuel the protests, Dr. William Ruto has promised funding cuts in his own office and said funding would stop for the offices of the First Lady, the wife of the Vice President, and the wife of the Prime Cabinet Secretary.
As we know, the country has faced a series of economic shocks, including COVID-19 pandemic, globally high interest rates, and devastating droughts and floods, events which have impacted negatively on our economy and our capacity to secure resources for development and to also meet our debt service obligations. In the last 2 years, we have put in our best efforts to mobilize domestic and external resources to accelerate our economic program, pull the country back from the danger of debt distress, and set us on a path of economic transformation. These efforts have strengthened the Kenya shilling, reduced fuel prices at the pump, and lowered the cost of living, including the cost of essential household commodities. This year, my administration presented revenue-raising measures through the Finance Bill 2024, which were aimed at not only consolidating the economic recovery program, but also propelling the country to the next phase of investing in key social and economic infrastructure projects to advance our development agenda and reduce on our debt burden. However, many voices expressed disapproval of these proposals, leading me to drop the bill and terminate the process. It therefore means that apart from the people of Kenya asking us to consider alternative means of raising revenue, which I agree with, there is general consensus that the country requires to confront and address long-standing priority national issues, including national debt, public expenditure, and anti-corruption measures, so as to release resources for creating opportunities, creating jobs, and creating wealth.
William Ruto has become deeply unpopular in his 2 years in office over his quest to introduce taxes meant to enable Kenya to repay its $80 billion public debt to lenders, including the World Bank, the IMF, and China. The public debt makes up 70% of Kenya's GDP. That's gross domestic product, the highest in 20 years. How Ruto's administration will find the money to pay off the debt without further angering millions of Kenyans is a key question that many have asked, but Kenyans have rejected attempts to raise taxes as they struggle with rising prices on basic goods, even storming the parliament during the recent protests. Recently, he announced that he would not sign the finance bill. Ruto said that he had worked hard to pull Kenya out of a debt trap and that huge consequences lie ahead. In a statement last month, the IMF said that it was monitoring the situation in Kenya, adding that its main goal was to help it overcome difficult economic challenges it faces and improve the economic prospects and the well-being of its people. Those in Kenya, let us know your thoughts. Let us know on if you feel that the withdrawal of signing the finance bill and it not coming for tuition will hurt or help Kenya. Let's go to the Caribbean. And there we go to Haiti, where the Prime Minister visits a hospital taken back from the rebels. Heavily armed Haitian police patrolled the university hospital in Port-au-Prince on Tuesday ahead of the Prime Minister's visit. The main hospital in Port-au-Prince has remained closed since anti-government rebels seized control of most of the area over 5 months ago. On Sunday night, police cleared the area after a brief exchange of gunfire with a few remaining rebels. The hospital walls and nearby buildings are filled with bullet holes, evidence of violence and numerous shootouts that occurred in downtown Port-au-Prince. The Haitian National Police took action to reclaim the hospital and the territory following the recent deployment of the United Nations-backed group of Kenyan police. Haitian Prime Minister Gary Conil, along with the head of the Haitian police chief, visited the hospital under a tight security. The Prime Minister described the area as, quote unquote, a war zone.
A hospital is not a war zone. Even under the worst circumstances, hospitals are protected. We're here today because our courageous men and women of the police force helped us establish the first step of taking back our key infrastructure.
The assaults by criminal organizations have pushed Haiti's healthcare system to the brink. The rising violence has resulted in an influx of patients with severe illnesses. Numerous other hospitals and clinics in the capital have been forced to close since the surge of violence in February of this year, making it increasingly difficult for patients and medical staff to access healthcare facilities. Those in Haiti. Let us know your thoughts on the main capital's hospital being retaken by police. Also, let us know on so far, what do you think about the job of the Prime Minister? Is he doing a good job? We go to the Bahamas, where they honor a hero on its Independence Day. The Bahamas on Wednesday awarded the Order of National Hero to a former enslaved individual as the country celebrated its 51st anniversary of independence. A statement issued by the Office of the Governor General said that the former enslaved Kate Moss had received the Order of National Hero and that the National Honors Committee recognizes her for her timely and determined courage demonstrated against racism and slavery. In the 1820s, Henry and Helen Moss were plantation owners in Crooked Island. Kate Moss was enslaved there. She was accused of theft, insubordination, and insolence by the plantation owners. Angered by the false accusations, she resisted. The false accusations against her and her resistance led her to her murder. It is said that Kate's death and her action against slavery became big news on both sides of the Atlantic Ocean in the 1820s and 1830s, and it was used to strengthen the growing demand for the abolition of slavery. The Bahamas said that Kate's actions to stand up for herself would become an act of defiance that was strong enough to make an impact on slavery worldwide and an impact on the history of the Bahamas. The Secretary General of the Caribbean Community, known as CARICOM, Dr. Carla Barnett, said that since independence, the Bahamas has established itself as an example of remarkable socioeconomic development within the region and has demonstrated an indomitable spirit to recover from setbacks and move forward. Those in the Bahamas first. Happy Independence Day. Also, have you ever heard of the formerly enslaved Kate Moss? Was that somebody that they taught a lot in the Bahamas history books? We want to hear from you guys. When we come back, we'll have today's African proverb of the day. Don't go anywhere.
New release of the Spring Summer Collection. Visit www.mccadero.com.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at today's African proverb of the day. It comes to us from the Bahamas. What's going on? Happy Independence Day once again. And it reads, spider and fly no make bargain. Once again, spider and fly no make bargain. Bahamian proverb. What this is referencing is that, when two sides are formidably against each other, they don't make any agreements, especially something that would interest the other party. Let me know your interpretation of today's African proverb of the day, as well as your thoughts, views, questions, comments, and concerns on the top stories. Don't forget to hit that like button. Make it your best friend. For Kush News on Kush Convos TV, I'm Ochanda. We'll see you soon.